Mic check. Mic check.
Yes, it is. And all in order, and we have everybody here, I think, correct? Oh, wait, sure. Review approval of July 15th minutes, those are emailed to everyone. Are there any additions or corrections?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hey, great, we got that fun stuff. So thank you guys for coming. Who wants to go first?
You jump right into
Yeah, I didn't want to more than with her. You're welcome to stay. It was nice of you to come.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi,
Adrian.
Adrian O'Shea, the president of the Helmsburg Community Development Corporation. Been there since 2018, and so I was asked just to kind of come talk about the projects we have an interest in, where we're looking to go in the future years. So I will tell you, we started out pretty strong. This group came together because our biggest project was the stormwater project over there in Helmsburg. And it was really awesome for that to be your first big project that we got completed. So I think you guys know some of the people over there. We have an older aging community. They've heard a lot of no's. So that it makes it difficult for them to kind of get with what we're doing and have some hope. So we're trying baby steps. So stormwater was our first project that we really wanted to get done. We got it done. So the ones that have come up subsequently, like, we're not gonna top that, right? But we're just kind of thinking, what are some of the little things that we can do? Just to beautify the neighborhood, just make it safer, whatever, right? So some of the things that we have kicked around, we'd really like to get a storm siren over there. I had talked to did I say storm? Yes, storm siren, yes. So yeah, I talked to, oh my gosh, at the emergency,
Chad Jacobs.
Chad, yes, thank you. I talked to him a while ago and he said that they were gonna move some sirens, that kind of thing, and make sure that we're covered. I know that everybody in the neighborhood knows that you should not necessarily be able to hear that in your house. I got some pretty good hearing. I'm up on top of the hill. I can't hear it at my house. So, a lot of the older people we have need to be alerted soon enough to get in, okay? We have got, some groups that have talked to us about money, those kind of things, maybe pledging, but, that's one that it's very high on our list. We've also talked to the fire station. They said they'd be willing to potentially have that at their station. I'm also president of the Helmsburg Sewer Board. So we've also talked that we're not going to need all the area for our plant that we're going to build. So that's another possibility. So we have locations that we can talk about. That's honestly probably one of our biggest. Next, we talked about streetlights. Some of the things that I know that Bee Blossom ran into a couple decades ago was they get streetlights put in, but who pays for that bill? So what we were talking about doing was looking at something that we felt was more sustainable, more cost up front, but to get solar lights, battery powered, they got about a 10+ year life. So we had some straight line lines come through years ago and it took down Helmsburg for a week and a half at least. A lot of people were missing power, couldn't call out, stuff like that. We just kind of thought, maybe we can work with Main Street. This is a big goal, I'm letting you know. First of all, we'd like streetlights that are solar. We want them to be kind of turn of the century because we were founded in 1906. We kind of thought that would look really cool. But I found a company that also has repeaters on there for internet and I would like to talk to Mainstream, say, hey, is there other way we can get a reduced rate, or since we're at 501, you know, is there something they can do? So once we get to the point where we can get streetlights, then I'll talk about that. But for the power to go out and we still have lights for security and people have the ability, if their internet's out, to still have communication. Because if the tower goes down over on Lit Creek, you're kind of toast. You don't really have anything in that area. So that's another big one. I would be completely open to what you guys think about getting businesses in Ellsworth. We have lots of little areas that could potentially be, they would look better, right? I know that we had CNC equipment just purchased EMF maybe a year ago. So they've been doing a good job of cleaning that up over there, but there's other buildings that are just vacant in that area that, and we don't have connections to see if there's anybody that wants to potentially get a business in there. I know restaurants been kicked around by the neighbors, service, you know, either people that do taxes in office there or barber shops or whatever. So, just getting people to be there. As you guys probably know, if you've been to the area, biggest business that we really have that is kind of a hub for us is the general store. They're absolutely fantastic and they're very involved with what we're doing over there in Helmsburg. So that's the third one is get some kind of business in there. And then the last one, we had, some of you guys may know Bill Kane. He came to a few of our meetings and we started kicking around the idea. We as a group talked about the Helmsburg Festival again. We used to have that years ago and lots of people there, but we think, let's expand this, let's make this bigger. And Bill was kind of representing the loss of community. We kind of thought it'd be really awesome to get something that we were kind of kicking around as a Corridor 45. So trying to do either some kind of event, you know, garage sale, whatever it may be. And it would start over kind of by Lake Lemon. And I mean, they're also wanting to be part of our community with the sewer stuff and it could help. Make network, Helmsburg's kind of right in the middle, and then it would continue on to be Blossom. So in that particular stretch, we could try to coordinate something, see what people think, try to get food trucks, something like that, and kind of have some kind of celebratory atmosphere there in Helmsburg. So kind of thought that might bring people to come into whatever businesses are around and just kind of see what we've been doing. The rest of our infrastructure looks pretty good. So, I only brought 4 things to talk about tonight because those are kind of the ones we want. You know, we've kicked around the idea of sidewalks through the neighborhood because there's a lot of people that walk and you get a lot of people that say, not on my land, something like that. So we aren't really pursuing that. We want to do things that would help everybody in the neighborhood feel safer. Even if people are walking down the side of the road, we have street lights, you know, something like that could be beneficial for us. So those are the 4 things that I've got to talk to you guys about. Those are the things that we as a community are actively trying to work on.
Good question.
Sure.
What are repeaters? Is that like?
It's like a Wi-Fi repeater type thing. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. The second thing is, do you have an inventory of your vacant buildings that businesses could go into?
No, but there's not a ton, so it'd be real hard to get all this. Yeah.
Is there anything in Helmsburg that's famous for or?
Right.
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 All the artists.
Yeah.
Is there a stop there now? No.
No, they used to be the stop.
I've thrown this out there a few times, too. I'm gonna continue to plug it. I think it would be a great, project, whether it takes 10, 15 years or whatever. But it would be great to have some sort of connector from Helmsburg to Nashville that walks the entire, the artists would get off the train and come into Nashville and back and forth. And whether that be Corridor 45, that kind of has that feel. I like that title, by the way, Corridor 45. That's a catchy
That's
And
the,
it's encompassing of Bean Blossom,
like, lemon
Erie,
area.
Lemon, and Helmsburg.
Yeah.
How far, the creek does it go? Does it go all the way up to Morgantown? Is that, yeah, are you, I'm just trying to get a feel of like the boundary that you're looking.
I think anything off of 45 there, that's the idea, is just to kind of get some kind of networking event together and, you know, people can do their own sales stuff. We aren't looking to try to make money off any of it. It's just what can we do to get people to come through our area? You know, Brownies is there, service that business. We could have a stop there, you know. It's the kind of things we're thinking about, and not anything, live music, food trucks, right? Different things like that. So
Be nice to do that in conjunction with the artist drive studio tour, you know, because when I do that, we drive through there, it'd be nice if there was something.
Yeah. So there's nothing set yet, obviously, but these are our big dreams here.
It starts somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking through them. So the storm siren thing came up, I don't know if you saw it in the, council meeting last night.
No, I didn't.
And, evidently, if I remember properly, I may or may not, even though it was only 24 hours ago, but the issue is that they need to come up with like 6 or 8 of them and fund them all at once to get a contractor to come in and do them. So I know, Chad, I think was the guy's name, he was asking for money for weather radios, just to at least get those to people. As a stopgap while that's happening. But what's interesting to me, mostly out of everything that he said, is the idea of a festival type thing that could then be leveraged to showcase, hey, this is a great place to have businesses. Right? So use a festival to showcase the area. And we had talked last month about a lot of mountain towns and random places around that have really gotten a hold with artist communities.
Yeah.
And kind of building that, because that fits in with your project as well. And so maybe there might be a way to get a festival there to get some intrigue, raise some money, and then leverage that into kind of developing Helmsburg as an artist area and playing into that history.
You mentioned the inventory of available buildings that I think Jeremiah asked about. I mean, is that, you mentioned the one that was purchased by the CNC company. Or is there a business going in there now, or are they just?
Well, they sell larger equipment. They're out towards Treblack there, and they were looking for an area to, I mean, it's an old welding shop, EMF, it's there.
Okay,
So as far as I know, I actually found out on their YouTube channel that they had purchased that building and they were revamping it, and that was gonna be where they do some of their CNC work.
okay.
So not something that's gonna service the greater neighborhood, but it's jobs.
Well,
You know.
between that building, the space that's out at the sock factory building, the broom factory building, the other building, I mean, you say there's not much, but there's probably more industrial, commercial property available in Helmsburg.
Yeah.
Than anywhere else in the county.
Yeah.
I
No,
think,
I completely
I
agree.
mean, I'm not sure what's available in Navajo, so if I'm off, then I'm off, but I mean, at least, I don't know what they're doing in the CNC building or whatever, but like, there's a lot of available space in Helmsburg. It's not.
Yeah.
Is the big
Big tree.
big,
Yeah.
look at that, that's just been empty or? You don't know.
Yeah. No, they were shopping that around for a while and
And you know more than most that is prime for IT companies.
Yeah.
You have a great infrastructure for high speed out there.
but we have high speed. We got mainstream out there. I work from home and
Exactly.
yeah, I have to have that.
One thing that jumps to mind though, that would be beneficial is, there are several historical markers that are been placed throughout Nashville. Bill Monroe is one. It was I think one of the first one that project for. A couple of those sites that you would find in Helmsburg, even if it's just the train track, what that does is it opens up recognition at the state level that then opens up the aspect of possible funding through other projects of preservation.
Yeah.
That, you guys could team up with, a couple of others. I know that, I said with the Peaceful Valley Heritage, this would be a great kind of, project that we could fill out that application to get that project going and some sort of markers. And if you found certain benefactors to be able to pay for, because they do cost money.
Yes.
That, you know, application plans, to sign itself is $2,000. But that does open up the recognition to Helmsburg. Because when people come to Brown County, unfortunately, they're not thinking, oh, let's go out to Helmsburg.
Yeah.
And so how do you tap into that, 2 million plus a year foot traffic of that? Do you have a location for if there were a festival? Is there any kind
Main
of
Street.
identified, just a main street?
Yeah, it's right off of 45. There's, we used to close that down.
Do you see with the residents whether or not there would be any kind of pushback for, certain permits of, noise or crowd control or anything like that?
No,
That
a lot of the
like
neighborhood is,
in Nashville has kind
Yeah.
of, you know,
no,
found resistance to somewhat.
but we've got a lot of people that seem like they are for something to happen there.
If it's the right thing.
And like I said, we've kicked around the festival idea for years.
Wasn't there a festival that Larry Bird did? Was it for the fire department or something?
They do, some kind of fall thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's at the Halloween.
Yeah.
It was something, I didn't know if it was still going or not.
There's a
Yeah.
Halloween on a trail at the
Yeah.
fire station that they do every year.
Yeah.
The train stop, I don't know if it still stops, but the train was stopping at for Santa. But
Yeah,
that's yeah, you're right. It's a 2-hour gig, but
it is.
I mean, at the same time, there was a pretty decent, when I would take Lincoln, there was
Yeah.
a decent turnout for that.
Yeah,
So like tapping into that type of stuff is what you're looking for, right?
yes, you know, for instance, with the Santa train thing, I know that when I took my son, when he was younger, Big Tree was open.
Mm.
Go in and get you some hot coffee, you know, cocoa for the kids and wait for the train. So if there was something there, you know, I mean, it's kind of built in. So I think we're open to a lot of ideas. I don't think there'll be much pushback at all about a festival type thing, you know, and I'm fine to go through and get the permits. Our biggest issue has been, I think I told you guys, we've been doing this since 2018. And the RDC gifted us $5,000 when we first started. And that's what we've been rolling with this entire time. So, yeah, we got some money for our cleanup day. We won an award to go for, from the Community Foundation. So that helped. We've had a few donations here and there from community members.
No funding from the trust.
I'm just wondering, and everybody's after the money, but the innkeeper's tax that's out there, and Helmsburg has some, I don't know how many short-term rentals.
Yeah, I've got one.
Do you? Okay.
Yes,
So
at least, no, I think 4 or 5, yes.
mhm. But point being that that money needs to be, well, it's reported that it needs to be for tourism related, and an event there would be, fall right in there.
And again, we are on limited budget,
Yeah.
right? So, and unless we get money somewhere, I mean, honestly, with what we lead through each year, we give the church money every year for a Christmas event that they do as a thank you for letting us be there. And then we do a cleanup day, usually once a year. We are working with Jim Snyder, showed up last week at our meeting, and we are kicking around the idea of a cleanup day, and they would help be involved in that with volunteers and that kind of thing. So, and we're trying to do things to try to get the Habitat people involved in our community. We haven't had that yet. They've come to a few meetings, but that's the thing. I feel like we're starting to die out. I think, because people haven't seen any change or anything in a while since the storm water. It's the same 10 people that show up at each meeting. That's really about it. But there's only about 4 of us that are doers. So,
As Sue said, everyone's going for their innkeeper status
yeah,
in the salt factory. So
we took our shot.
Yeah.
if it weren't for money, what else could we help do? Like as an as a group, as an organization, is it planning, is it convening, is it networking?
I think the
Like what's the
networking,
biggest bang for the buck that we could do?
yeah, the networking would be good because, first of all, just to know where finances could potentially come from for different projects here. But the business thing is a real big deal for us. I mean, if you're not gonna bring in jobs or services or any of that stuff, what reason do people have to stick around there at all? I mean, yeah, we just don't have much of anything.
First, I'd be an inventory of what buildings we've got out there. I would think.
And the other thing that we can always do that costs us basically nothing is to do some press. Saying, hey, the RDC is focused on it, right? There's county attention here. And, because I would assume we could get that picked up within Nashville pretty easily and probably Bloomington as well, because that's relatively close to Monroe County. Yeah. So we might just be able to also help with getting a bunch of attention.
See what ideas come out.
Well, because I think there's a lot to just, if you make people aware that you want something to improve and you have a plan and there's, people feel like there's energy, and people will come out of the woodwork to an extent.
Well, that kind of segues nicely into the next part, that somebody does have a plan and does have. Something they can go in years.
That could be.
Yeah, so perfect segue. Thank you. That was nicely teed up.
Anything else? Well, and I've got the whole spiel here, so you tell me, do you have specific questions? You want me to kind of give you the whole idea from the start and kind of where this came from? Is that an okay?
Yeah.
Starting place? Okay. Okay, so I'm Kirsty Tiernan. I've been here for about 13 years. Grew up in Brownstown, went to Chicago for work and after school and came back here about 13 years ago with my family. 2 kids, 10 and 12, and my husband and I both worked from home with different jobs. I work for a company a consulting firm out of Indianapolis. I lead our AI team, our artificial intelligence team. So very focused on data analytics and technology and STEM and STEAM and all those kinds of things. In my own company, we have about 500 people that are focused on technology consulting, and we have very few women. And I was really struggling with how we get more diversity and women into our field. And couldn't quite figure it out at the career level. And I said, well, let's just go all the way back to the elementary school level. Let's go all the way to kindergarten and see where we lose people, right? And I had kids in the Helmsburg Elementary School at the time. And I said, okay, let's just start a coding club. So we started a coding club, and God bless those teachers because I could barely handle an hour and a half every month. But they're amazing. But I went in there and we would do our training, and they used a program called Scratch. I aligned with Purdue Extension, and it became a Spark Club for the 4-H group. And I know to at least align with them to get their support because they have a lot of support, a lot of curriculum in computer science. That was really exciting. They lent volunteers, junior leaders, and so forth. And so we started doing the coding club. We would do a little tool called Scratch, and the kids would program. And it's amazing how little you have to teach children for them to learn. You really have to just show up, right? So I learned that very quickly because I was very nervous about how we were going to teach the 40 kids that would show up at kindergarten through 5th grade coding program. Anyway, went on for a while, went through the entire year, and I have a little video here for you. I don't know if any of you know this little girl, Amelia. Let me see if this will play here. pull it up for us.
Mhm.
It looks like it will though, doesn't it? Okay, well,
Very hard to embed.
I will tell you exactly. I did that kind of last minute because I thought it'd be good for you to see some of the benefit, but there's this little girl, Amelia, and she had been doing the coding class. She's very good at it. And every month we've done this for the first year, and we got to the end of the year and I was taking some videos of all the kids. How did you like it? I said, do you think you could be a data scientist when you get older? And she goes, no. Oh my God. And on the video, you can just hear me go like, what? I've been doing this for a year. And I said, do you think you could be a data scientist? She, oh yeah. Good. So I just kind of realized we have work to do, right? Even being with those kids every month, I still had girls that didn't think they could do engineering and STEAM and STEM and all these things. So realized we needed to take this up a little. And if when you get more familiar with me, you'll realize I don't do things small, which is part of my problem. And so we took it up a little. And I said, why don't we have a technology lab? And they said, we don't have the space. And I said, well, let's get the space. And so we talked about a container lab. We talked about a shipping lab, a shipping container, and that could be portable. We have all these ideas. Then Jeff Clark in town said, have you talked to the guys behind the Helmsburg there, or in front of Helmsburg there, that own the Beamery? They've got some space. I bet there's something in there. So I called up David from the Beamery and I said, I've got a wild idea for you. Like, you got any space in that sock factory that you're not using? Because we're thinking about a tech lab for the kids. And he said, actually, I've been wanting to do some kind of vocational training for a while, but we just can't seem to get our arms around it and organize it. So I went over there and looked at the space, and I'll show you some pictures. 12,000 square feet. And you've been there, right? It's just an open cubicle space from the sock factory. This not so beautiful purple carpet, red carpet, but it's all in shape, right? They use it they rent it out for storage right now. So there's a lot of storage stuff there, but it's an amazing space. So I was just like, oh, you're just sitting on this. What the things we could do, right? It's just an amazing space. So there's just fiber hanging out of the walls, ready to be connected to computers, right? Because they were one of the first ones. So anyway, we've had a lot of ideas stemmed from that. And because we can't do small, it turned from a tech lab into a community center. So now the ideas are around technology labs, it's around ceramics lab, a culinary lab, artist lab, multimedia production lab, and then a lot of space for startup, launch, nonprofit, get together, meetings like this for the community and so forth. So that's kind of a little bit of the inspiration behind it and what it is. And the e-gaming lab too, I forgot to mention that. If everyone's familiar with STEAM versus STEM, the whole idea of STEAM is to incorporate arts, which just makes so much sense here, right? So this is a few pictures of the current space, and this isn't even the two big rooms. And this is only the upstairs. So this is just a few of the rooms that are small, but again, on the bottom right, there is our current floor plan layout. And on the first floor, that crossed out area is an area that we've not agreed on using yet, so that's still theirs. But we have the culinary lab and the ceramics lab, along with a lobby and restrooms and space for an elevator. And then if you go to the second floor, where there at the bottom, you'll see 3 technology labs, an art studio, an e-gaming studio, a music multimedia production studio, and then there's a flex lab there too, for whatever else we determine we might need. That we could reposition. And then there's a few areas for kitchen, lounge. There's a lot of kind of side office space that we could rent out to the community.
And that 12,000 square feet is only a portion of the square footage that's available in that location, right?
Yeah, there's an entire separate part of the building that we're not even looking at because they're using that for the Beamery.
Yeah, I think you told me yesterday there's like 80,000 square feet under roof, and this is 12,000 of it. His business is 20, 30,000 of it, and there's still space and a foundation and a building left to build more space.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of.
Well, and the space that they are using that we're not currently ideating on here, it could be used for vocational training. So shop class, they used to build barrels. They have a whole Cooper section with all the machines and such. There's so much potential, I think, even beyond this, but we kind of started with the tech side of things.
So these are just the tech labs?
Yes.
These are the music?
Yeah, the music is in the back left there, and we've updated these floor plans a little bit as we go, but back left, yeah, and it's also Keenan Rainwater is leading the development of that lab. But it's evolved into a production lab. We've got Camity Lewis, who's got a lot of experience with broadcasting. Her IU students are working on some courses with them. We've got Lynn Miller, who has, a ton of background in broadcasting and production. So Keenan's vision for that was, yes, we could record music here, and that would be amazing. But what if we could also share information with the community through this lab as well? Like a small podcast studio, maybe a Facebook Live kind of studio, sharing information with the community, whether it's elections or, just community information. I think that's been thrown around. And if worst case scenario, we got to cater to the tourists, we can do YouTube for kids and let them do a little YouTube show. People pay a lot of money for that.
What age group is your targeted audience?
So there are a few different audiences we can attract here. One, and the top priority is the community, students and adults in that community. Now, we can also host field trips for the other schools, and we've been putting into budget transportation to get those kids to the school. We will have no formal reliance on the schools, but we will have opening for the schools, especially during the day, for them to, the teachers to, whatever fits into their curriculum, to use those technology labs. Helensburgh, it's really easy. They just walk down the trail, right?
And when you say schools, just the county schools or multi-county schools?
So currently, the county schools is what we have in mind, but the ROI opportunity for the grant money there requires us to be much more of a regional impact. So we have widened it a little bit. We've got connections with Cummins and Columbus, and then also connections with Northern County.
So is this the region that you're talking about, is the upland region?
Right. So right now, very focused on those technology labs. Think about those as, a teacher coming over and being able to use those to educate. We would also have virtual AI tutors already built into those tech labs. And I think what's really exciting about that, the Helensburgh School actually has a little bit of money set aside for tutors, but they can't find tutors. They don't have the people to be able to do that tutoring. They could invest that in a tutoring lab, and you have AI agents working with the kids, right? So that's one. Beyond that, we could be doing our coding clubs there. So for the students, and then there's also a robotics lab and an e-gaming lab. E-gaming, super exciting right now and kind of a big deal. Lots of sports team kind of feel, and I think it gives kids that aren't in athletics a team environment to learn in. The program that we're looking at is associated with the state of Indiana's e-gaming program for the schools. Talked to them. We've been to their high school finals last year, Ball State and everything. They have a great program that not only has teams to compete in e-gaming, Rocket League specifically is what we were looking at, but they also teach them how to code as part of that program. And they have a physical activity part of that program too. So it's kind of a really great program for the kids. And most schools in Indiana offer scholarships now for e-gaming. And there are several professionals in Brown County that do e-gaming. So we've got some good opportunities for coaches. Also the coach for the robotics program in Columbus, who is Jim Rumsey. He's married to the CEO of Cummins, which is Jen Rumsey. We've talked with them and they're very interested in personally supporting however they can. Through Cummins and on the side, but he's a great robotics coach and he would be interested and willing to mentor our teams.
Do any of the Brown County schools have robotics programs
Yes.
now?
Yeah, they all,
Oh,
I think all three.
yeah, especially
even
today.
junior high.
It's elementary.
Just elementary.
Junior high.
Oh, junior high.
Yeah.
That's good. Because they have-
They have it all the way up and they have computer science for middle school as a class as well as elective class. Computer science, and with computer science, they sometimes do the robotics side.
Okay. But we don't have the
Gotcha.
little machines and everything.
I see homeschooling. We have a
So-
huge network of homeschoolers.
Yeah, so we're plugged into the homeschool, and the homeschool parents, what they were saying, I think is gonna be of interest, is one, these are a little bit more creative classes, they're different, right? So if they did bring their kids, let's say, to a technology class or a ceramics class, as part of their own homeschool curriculum, there's also the opportunity for the parents to be there and be taking class as well. They can be taking culinary class, they can be taking a ceramics class where the kids are in the tech club, right? Or they could be just using the space to do whatever they're doing. So students are a primary focus. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And we really want to grow them through these labs into career paths. So we've also got this idea of what companies can we align with so that we can be lining these kids up for a path that goes directly into a company, right? Every one of these companies that we connect with, Maybe they'll take 5 kids that went down this path or got this type of certification. But that then really expands to the adult opportunity. So with my background, I'm really passionate about teaching other adults how to use AI to make money and to generate an income, to generate a living without having to move, without having to be part of a company that you have to drive to, right? There's a lot of opportunity, but a lot of people don't know how to take advantage of that. There's an AI class happening at the Barn Burner next week, and we're kind of testing out, is the community interested in that? And we'll see what comes of that. In town,
The bike shop is.
where the bike shop is, yeah, Karen Hamas is hosting someone, I think he's actually coming down from Indy, but he's been doing these around Indiana. He's doing a free AI class, it's like a 3-hour session.
Oh, be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's still open space. So then we have the adults, that's an opportunity. There's also, you know, we have two full-time employees in the budget for jobs. I think there's a lot of teaching jobs. The idea is really bring out the masters in Brown County that are maybe a little bit closer to the end of their careers or retirement and share that knowledge, right?
That's what I was gonna ask, like, is it focused more of those 2 positions as a program developer, program manager, so that you have those 2 individuals being able to guidance counsel those pathways?
Well, I
That
think
the idea?
there's probably a lot for them to do. One, maintaining the building and serving as reception. We have in the plans for security system, mobile app entry, all of that, right? Which will be, you book time in the e-gaming lab, you can basically get in without someone opening the door for you, kind of thing. So, that's really gonna cater to the tourists. But from a security perspective, you know, we need to have someone there. And then I think there's just maintaining the nonprofit organization as a whole and continuing the grants and the relationships, the partnerships. You know, we haven't built a thing yet, and we probably have 15 partnerships. It's only gonna get more intense to be able to manage that, align everyone. So that's where I kind of see that, those roles.
So how do you plan to fund all this?
Yeah, let's see. Through.
I love the idea. It's like, do this.
Well, go. Yeah, real quick, here's what we envision it to look like at some point, right? Here's some of the different labs and how we expect that to all work. We've got the blueprints are to scale, the renderings are to scale for each of the rooms as well. And what we're doing right now to be able to really solidify our budgets, we have a $1 million ask is what we need to get going. So our phase 1 is going to be the first level floor. And so that's gonna be the lobbies, the restrooms, the space for the elevator without the elevator itself. We don't need if we don't have 2 floors, and the culinary and the ceramics lab. Now, what helps us with that first level, and that's gonna be about $500,000 is what we've estimated. With these renderings, we're now working with Don Waltman and his team to come up with line item detailed costs, because for our grants, we need that level of detail. So we should have that soon. But that first level has the ceramics lab in it, and we have a 2 model idea here. So labs can be run by another nonprofit, and they would then rent the space, which is what the ceramics lab would be. And Agata is looking at her Nacho organization, which is Nashville Arts, Ceramics, Homesteading. That group is already developed. They already have grant money for some of their equipment. She can put that into our space. So we just have to build the shell of the space, make sure that the electric and everything's there for her. So that will be revenue immediately. But right now we are fundraising for donors and grants. The ROI grant opportunity, which we hope is opened up soon, is what we've been really working towards. And we've been meeting with the ROI committee that makes those recommendations for the Uplands, Uplands region. They have been through the space, I think 3 times now with different people. So I think there's a lot of interest and support that we actually have a project that could really compete. And their suggestion to us was to get a lot of alignment with other area organizations so that we can show that it's an impact to the region, not just Brown County.
Yeah.
So that's where we've been very focused on IU relationships.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah, we have a relationship with the IU Bloody School of Informatics, trying to get some of their students to come volunteer, help build out the e-gaming room, help us just, maybe it's just estimating what equipment we need, right? We can do a lot of our mission without the building right now. And that's what we're doing. We're kind of just saying, let's take advantage of all the masters that we have here and the classes that are happening, fund them, and help get them going so we can show that the programming works and then bring it to the building when we get the money. So grants, we've got donors, we've had several donations already. And then there's, you know, multiple grants other than ROI that we've been working towards. Yeah. But yes, any interested donors, send them our way. So we've talked a little bit about the impact on schools. I mean, we talked about the adults. The other thing I think we have that's so unique here is that we have the tourist revenue, right? We have the 2 million visitors. And sometimes, especially with kids, it's hard to figure out what to do outside of the park, right? This is such an easy thing, experience-wise. I mean, our whole mission is around educating adventurously, right? And that really goes with Brown County. It's not just, we're going to, you know, do an IT class. We're gonna do AI and teach you how to do a side hustle. So you may not, you know, money tomorrow. Like that's the kind of stuff we want to do for tourists, you know, whether it's a ceramics class, whether it's a YouTuber kind of little class or recording music, whatever it is, we want everything to be very experience focused.
Have you reached out to Wonder Lab in Bloomington to see how they got their funding? Because not that it's the same thing, but it kind of.
Very similar,
Very
yeah.
similar in aspects of getting the startup money to do so. The nonprofit, the sustainability is different, but.
They, we haven't they're on my list. We have reached out to both the previous director and the current director for the mill. I don't know if you're familiar with the mill in Brown County, kind of a launch space, workspace. They have a lot of alignment. So there's been a lot of good mentoring there from what they did, but a lot of it was grants.
Yeah.
Now, we have a really good mentor in Columbus, John Burnett, who is the one that helped secure 25 million from ROI for their version of like a CRC. I think it's called Career Education Center. So he's in Columbus.
Oh.
So they've got some really good experience with how to do what we're trying to do. And he's been a one-on-one mentor for a lot of us, which has been wonderful.
So I'm sorry, once we get this going, will there be revenue generated from, like, obviously leasing of the space, but then probably fees for some of the classes?
Yeah, you can do a subscription basis for some of the classes. Some of the labs might be, you know, monthly fees. We expect to have overnight events so that we get beds and heads throughout the community. The e-gaming lab specifically would have 15 stations, and then we can host tournaments, virtual tournaments. So you imagine they bring their kids here, they can't really sit in a steamer, it's not gonna be in enough room. What we're gonna do is set up watch parties at the bars and restaurants around the county, send the parents out there to watch, right? So we have a lot of, we know that sustaining this is going to be one of the hardest things. And so having that ongoing effort around grants, long-term donors, but then also making sure that we can sustain ourselves with any revenue potential, that's gonna be.
I know that I thought about, like with the ceramics where you have somebody who's a master at something, right? Or if you could, you know, bring them in for a week or something, doing like week-long classes. And that was where I came up with the Helmsburg Hotel that I think we need to build. Because people may not necessarily want to go all the way into town. I've always done scrapbook retreats and they're on site. People will come, they'll stay for days and days. But they do like their sleeping accommodations close.
Yeah.
And so if you could have those two things together, I think people would come, you know, for a week of an event to learn something or meet somebody or do something.
See, now you have to open up a whole new bell.
It's my problem.
In your spare time.
I think that's my other question. I mean, this, I get this, I see this as great. What do both of you see as the impact to Helmsburg, right? If this happens, let's just say that the money gods just drop all the money in your lap and you can do it. Is that it? This is gonna be built and the rest of Helmsburg goes around it, or what is like, how would this drive your vision for Helmsburg?
Well, I think we initially had lunch maybe a year and a half ago, something like that, when the idea first came up. So, it's having things happen in the area. And if we can have things happen, people have a reason to be there. And if they have a reason to be there, let's give them more of a reason to hang around.
And maybe a coffee shop.
Well, and
Yes.
that's kind of what I was thinking when you have these vacant buildings,
Yeah.
fill them with business. Well, where are they gonna eat lunch? Where are they gonna have, what
The
are they gonna
amenities
do
that
after?
they're interested.
Yeah, the amenities, during the day, if people are coming to stay and do a convention, uh, where are they gonna stay that, like, have this retreat of, to me, this is a resort mindset, that I would come and want to spend my kids a couple days, like, this is an attraction versus, just something that people might just happen upon. Like, this is more a destination.
And then I guess so you get this, you get the coffee shop, you get the brewery, you
And
get the synergies around this. Is this something that the residents of Helmsburg are going to embrace and be excited that there's a coffee shop and a brewery and a restaurant and?
They all feel that it has been a dead community for a long time. They're all getting up there in age. We all know we're gonna have to figure out how to bring in younger families to replace these people.
now, one thing, when I look at these renderings, it's not the same kind of rendering as I get in the atmosphere when I go into the general store.
That's right.
So how do you combine these multifaceted, because like you said, general store is the thriving business right now. And like, I didn't know you could buy night crawlers until, just recently, like, I still have those after 6 months. They're pretty night crawlers. But the same thing, like, how do you overlap those? I don't want to say cultures, but it's atmospheres.
You don't use AI renderings. That's how.
Yeah.
Doing everything on a very
Very
small,
All right.
if you think
Yeah.
it's gonna look like that when I'm done, we might be surprised.
I was surprised red carpet's not there.
And red carpet, maybe just keep that.
Yeah.
That for
And then
No,
it's-
I don't think, I think we want to, as we design this, we want it to be and feel as Brown County and Helmsburg as possible, right? So don't take these renderings
No, I get you.
as absolute. There can be a lot of culture mixed into that and bring that feeling, because that's what's gonna bring people and keep people here too, right? Is being connected to a small community, feeling like they found something. And that, we tried to work that in. Steamery was partially because of the railroad. Like, there's gotta be other things that could link that through.
Well, I don't know that it has to overlap as much as coexist. Because, I mean,
You're right.
we are trying to lean on the fact that Helmsburg was founded in 1906. Like I said, solar lights, techie, right? But they've got a turn of the century look to them. That, the Helmsburg shop there, or the general store, it's a very turn of the century look, right? I think it would be really awesome to have this older looking town that people come in and have things to do, and then they walk into the steamery and they go, damn, like, this is really tech feel,
Both sides, right?
I feel that that's something new and interesting, so.
And that's the vibe I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at, if you're familiar with, Bob Blass's Airbnb, it's one of the top rated Airbnbs in the county. It's not a log cabin, it's a super modern looking place, but it's in the woods, it coexists. It's a neat way that he's pulled it off.
That's what I'm trying to shoot for. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's going to make it thrive, is that it has to have a combination, like the Bartley House. Like, it's a historical building, yet they've modernized it to be a
Yeah.
modernized coffee shop inside it. And they've done a fantastic job with it, and that kind of, I preach this at PBH all the time. We have to have this modern historical combination if we're going to move forward, preserve what we have, but have progress through preservation. And that's kind of what you guys are doing and preserving the historical
I
soft
think you
factor.
look at Antique Alley, what Andy has done with that, right? Like, it still maintains its culture
Yeah.
but still very modernized. And I was also just at French Lick, West Baden this weekend, and that just made me think of it because it's the train, the early centuries.
Yep.
It was very shabby up until they renovated in early 2000s. They got a casino and they've got golf courses, but it is a destination. You go to French Lick to do the things that are there. You would never ordinarily go. to that town, but for this place that has these things you want to do.
Question for you, when you're looking at this project, what kind of timeline are you on?
All depends on our thing.
But let's just say you had all the funding end of this year, right?
Mhm.
Would it be, or would you be looking at a year and a half to build out?
So we'd be doing it in
Things
3
running?
phases, because that first phase, like I said, we could see if those labs going and see the community response, right? So that's first phase. And we'll see when we get the actual estimates back, but 6 months probably is what you're looking for that first phase. And then you can do the second phase, it'll probably be a little bit longer to build out that entire second floor, and access and all those things. And then, third phase is just the ongoing sustainability. Now, the question is, do you build out the equipment in all those labs as you go? Do you build the shell and then you put a nonprofit in there and that'll just kind of come with time? But I think the beauty of this is you don't need to build the whole thing at once. You build pieces
Right.
of it.
And a lot of the infrastructure is there. I'd not been out there until yesterday. I was.
They haven't done tour yet. You haven't done
Yeah.
tour yesterday?
Yeah.
So they've got all the sewer infrastructures there, the water infrastructure there, the power is unbelievable, the fibers, it's all there.
Mainstream's been up there 3 million.
Well, and I'm just thinking though, if we're thinking about Helmsburg as a whole. To get all this stuff to run together, you kind of run into a chicken and an egg problem. Right? You need the things to bring in the businesses and the people, but without the business, and the people, it's hard to raise money for the things and.
Right.
And so it somehow there has to be some kind of global planning on a timeline
Yeah, it's not a.
to try to sell a vision to other people to bring their money in and invest.
And you're gonna have to bridge a gap of.
Yeah.
You,
And we have to get somebody that's willing to be a first adopter and move in there and know like, okay, I'll probably make money in 6 months, but right now I'm just gonna sit on my hands.
Yeah, it's not a build a dream, it's build it and they'll come.
No.
You're already having classes, right?
Mhm.
That you're
Yeah.
already doing, that you're just looking for a location of these classes. And I guess what I think what you're leaning to is what is the appetite right now? What is the need for that location? How many people are in the classes? You said 40 and the kids showing up for the
coding club.
the coding club and everything, but
Coding club, and then we do the art classes at Second Surf Studio in town. The after school classes.
and you don't think that the coding aspect of it, you probably know better than most, that it's not going away because of AI.
People adjust.
It better not.
Nobody still has to type in.
Well, that's. I don't think it will. That's I mean, the biggest thing 5 years ago, 6 years ago was code.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of talk of reversing that conversation because of the AI aspect of coding and so forth.
Integrate and adjust.
Yeah, even the coding club, I mean, we're teaching them Scratch. They still need to know object-oriented programming. They still need to know how that works and know how to understand how to think. They just don't have to code from scratch anymore.
Fair.
With Scratch. So they scratch and they're dragging objects, right?
Yeah.
Versus typing syntax. And then we've got to teach them, the fifth graders all wanted to learn Python. Well, Python's still a very employable skill, right? And probably will be for a while.
Well, especially with data science too.
Yeah.
Science,
And-
reporting and,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going away in healthcare anytime soon.
Yeah.
Was, like, I'm working on a large, tech project right now, and we essentially no-coded a whole company out of AI. And now my Python's a mess, I'm gonna have to hire a Python guy to come figure it out. So yeah, you can build a product no code, because I've done it, but I still have to hire somebody that can do Python.
All right, you all have just totally lost me. I had a flashback to when I was in college and I had my little cards I had to take.
Don't drop them.
Don't you drop them.
80 column IBM cards.
So how can we help you?
Well, I was gonna say a little bit of where we're at now, right? So we're kind of past this planning and visioning, have a pretty good understanding. I've got a playbook for the entire thing of every component that we have talked about, every partnership we've talked about. So pages and pages of what this could look like. I think right now we're trying to gather that community support in preparation for grant writing. We have a grants committee, we have a grant writer, wonderful new resident from LA, actually, just moved to Brown County, right? And she's a pediatric oncology researcher from US, like, it's amazing people in these hills that we have, right?
Yeah.
Coming out to help support, and she's a wonderful grant writer. So anyway, she's leading the grants committee. And those walkthroughs that we do them the third Monday of every month. Those are open to the public, just to come through, talk with us, hear the vision, hear the people that are kind of leading each of the labs and what they're imagining. That's really key for people to see it and touch it and feel it, right? And it's raw. It is in its raw state right now. We don't even really clean it up, right? We just let people, we want people to feel like they're part of imagining what it is, so we can get those great ideas. The IU relationship has been really great. I think the CRE, which is the Center for Rural Engagement, they're gonna be lending us students and interns to help develop the plan. We were talking about creating an AI forward nonprofit playbook for them to be able to use for other rural nonprofits. So I said, you lead with getting us some interns and helping build out this vision and the plan, the grant writing, some of those things. We'll build out a playbook for you to share with the rest of the state. So that's gonna be really cool. Cummins, like I said, we're a Cummins partner now. So the Evan Razor, if anybody's, him. Anyway, he leads the Cummins involvement team in Brown County. So all the Brown County residents that are Cummins employees, get together and volunteer. They can clean up things. You should maybe know about that for the Helmsburg cleanup.
They do tons of huge projects.
Tons of
They
cleanup.
built Habitat.
They can do digital media for us. They can do all kinds of things. And like I said, we've connected with the CEO and the head of the foundation. They're very interested in supporting. They don't want to do the infrastructure support. They want to do the programming. That was why we did the offsite, get that shine. So anyway, we've got a lot of great connections. We could use even more. We can always use more partnerships, more connections, people in the community, in the Uplands region. But we really need you to just spread the word and be enthusiastic about it and bring some of those partnerships to us where we're really good at connecting the dots, if we have the dots. I'm fairly, 12 years, but I don't know all of the different organizations that exist and things like this. I have to go to Tabata with Amy to figure this out, right?
Right.
So I could use some help with those types of things, those types of connections as we have them. And then, I think the key to this is the masters in the woods that we can pull out to be the teachers and the educators. So the more of those folks, I would like to build kind of a cohort of early teachers and start to get some of that offsite class effort going. And then donors.
You said the infrastructure funding is a challenge for Cummins, or is it a challenge in general?
It's a challenge for Cummins. They like to invest in the programming. RY likes the infrastructure. So it just depends on what grant. The other thing we have, is that a lot of grants require match money secured. So that's also something we have to build up. Donors that have an appreciation for their money sitting at being matched.
I know I use the biggest university in the area and definitely in the Upland region, but there's other universities that have alumni that are here.
Mhm.
And Purdue being one of them is a big one, IUPC, IUPY.
Yeah, IU, we connected with their chancellor the other day, so they're on board, but they're in Indy, right? So it's a little bit harder to get there but I would appreciate any introductions. At Purdue, we have on through the extension office, limited, my cousin happens to be one of the regional extension leaders, so we can get that connection.
But at the IUPUC campus, as we'll still continue to call it, there is a whole entire Purdue program. I can't think what it's called.
Okay,
That is, you're getting a Purdue technology degree of some sort. I can't remember the name of it.
But solely Purdue culinary,
yeah, any of that would be great.
But that is really close. Oh, shoot, I can't remember. But anyway, it is a Purdue out place all by itself. It
Okay.
just happens to be on the campus with Ivy Tech and IU and whatever,
Okay,
but it's a tech program or engineering. Because we've had kids from here who completed their entire degree there.
and Purdue Polytech,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I wonder if you might be interested in getting involved a little bit on the hospitality side.
yeah, the hospitality is so key.
They have a top program. I think everybody I know up there should be retired.
Well, we talked about hospitality. I think that is an area, I don't know you've got it kind of in your exact plans right now. But it's not just with culinary, but with having a way for people we have a lot of folks who are, working hourly and they don't have that ability to move up. And so how do they get additional skills through a hospitality type of degree, which is also through, I think there's some through Ivy Tech as well. But anyway, how do you offer that and how do you sort of have something that is gonna help build up skills for the folks who already live?
Yeah, I do think the hospitality businesses that are in town, we haven't pulled them together to really get support there, but the idea would be to build an employee training track that feeds them employees. But if we can get kids from the kindergarten level interested in hospitality at that early stage, we probably keep a lot more kids here working in hospitality.
And if we can, Habitat can build more houses, we'll keep even more.
There are, not volunteering David or Scott for this, but they do have another 20 acres back there that they've been talking about utilizing for
Really?
some sort of housing, something. So there might be some more discussions there.
We would definitely be interested.
I think there was also a garden. in the
I have a
back.
greenhouse,
Yeah.
two very large greenhouses that we thought about, some kind of culinary, grow your own food, nutrition program. I tried to stop adding labs to it, but maybe phase 5. Could have a greenhouse potential too.
I always have dreams of artists in residency or someone who can maybe teach at the steamery, but then live right next door or something, as long as you're thinking big. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I was very excited about the culinary because the only program in the area is Columbus C4. And Carrie Douglas, who teaches that, also teaches at IUPUC, whatever it is, now, or sorry, at Ivy Tech. And I connected them because I was like, she knows exactly what is necessary for a culinary kitchen that you're gonna teach in. She can tell you right now, she designed the one at Columbus North, and she'll tell you exactly what you need. So, I mean, I
And
think
she started, so she knows.
she is.
Yeah.
She's
The
from here.
type of,
She has a multi-million-dollar culinary lab kitchen. So she did say, I don't know if you want to see this because you may not be able to get this, but she pointed us to the Nexus Center Culinary Community Kitchen. And we did a visit there and talked with a lot of them about how they're raising money. But they're supported by the hospital, so they're very lucky in that way. But we looked at their layout and kind of got some really good ideas from that too.
Lots to think about.
But our kids, again, that's such a great program because that, again, you're not just, you're starting out with real culinary skills, but you've got to have space in your program as a high school student. It's really only available for high school students. And then you got to get to Columbus to do it. So if we had something closer or that it could be done outside of class time, that'd be great.
I mean, I was in a conversation last week that we were talking about that the county is missing that learning institute, whatever it may be. And this fits that niche. It fits very well with, Brown County vibe from A to Z, and, it meets that that post high school, not that the CRC is not helping fulfill that, but it's a different.
It doesn't do
It's
everything.
different, yeah, exactly, it can't fit all needs for it, and so this is that niche, that need that, has been needed here as a primary institute that the region can come and say, hey, there's a dorm, you stay in the dorm and whatever that be, and you actually have students and that come and stay. Certifications, I push certifications as much as anyone that whether it be project management or business process management or human-centered design thinking, all of this type of stuff fits into these type of educational institutes that have jobs out, right? I mean, immediately I could see having like teaching Lean Six Sigma and one of the classrooms here and getting certified for these students. Agile, Scrum, all of this stuff that, you know, I spent my career getting all of these certifications that, like, there's nowhere to go and get that unless you're in the corporate world.
Mhm.
And so those are the types of jobs for those students to be able to get real jobs coming out of high school. And you're already providing that at elementary all the way through. When we did the, one last thing, when we were trying to get the middle school to the first STEM school in the state, Brian Garman was, we put together that corporate partnership. It's a collaboration for, regional corporations, Cook, Cummins, CRH, we all, we all got together and created this corporate, collaboration. Are they still,
They're still doing it, yeah.
they're still doing it,
Yeah.
but I don't know,
They
is the
did
junior
not-
high still getting
They
their?
did not get the STEM renewed,
Okay.
but now we have Sprunica and Helmsburg, which have
Correct.
theirs. And the middle school and Van Buren are working on it.
And so that kind of stemmed the whole, hey, there's a real need for this, process improvement, you know, corporate, type of certification, education, that this really would fit that niche.
And Wally Bruner, I don't know if anyone knows him, he's a local resident, but he does sales training for large corporations for a living. So a lot of the trainings you just mentioned, that's what he's been setting up for his whole career. So he was very involved at the beginning. We haven't got to the part of meeting him yet, but his whole passion was, I want to connect the career paths with actual careers
Yes, and
and be the connection to the company. So I'm sure he would be very interested.
I was trying to get that in school, like at a junior high level, starting that, and then at a high school level, be able to graduate with a Lean Six Sigma green belt or even a black belt, certification. And so if any of that type of, those certifications, I'm all.
Great,
The other thing, I mean, it kind of jumps out to me, and maybe it's, I'm stating the obvious here or whatever, but, you know, a couple of meetings ago, we spent a lot of time talking about how do we attract people here and how do we market this area to people who can work remote and the higher earners or whatever. We hadn't really talked about how do we start the kids in a career path that can keep them here and keep them here as high earners and keep them here at high salaries. And what you just said with being able to teach the AI skills so that you can come to a few classes and start generating income. I mean, we're talking about a mechanism to teach everybody, not just kids, but kids up the skills that they need to make a good income in this community and either not have to leave or come back for it. I think we should think about that, and maybe it's obvious we're all.
I think the goal of ROI is they connected these 8 counties, they identified the 3 or 4 skills that people need in order to stay in this area, that are high income earning. And how do we prepare kids to go into these fields, including advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and I can never remember it.
I think that's on.
Well, coding.
I mean, look at what you're doing to make a living here. Right, and you're going to teach people that's working with the same type of skills.
I think you're spot on with that, because I think that's on the mind of every educational institution right now, because they come here to Indiana University, get their degree, and then go back to whatever state or country that they've come from. This would be that institution that we have here, that we are essentially what we were trying to do with the STEM program, or the corporate partnership, was to build our own pipeline. When I was with CRH, I was in charge of creating the clinical talent office, and that was basically trying to get people interested, kids. At the college level, it's too late. High school level, it's still too late because parents are already pushing their kids in a certain way. It's the junior high and elementary school level that attracts that's the time to tap into saying, hey, there's so many different opportunities. I'm focusing on healthcare, but it's not just a nurse or a doctor. There's so many other, medical engineering, IT is all over the place, and EMRs and all of that stuff. And that was the time to really build that pipeline. And that's exactly what we should be doing, is building that pipeline right here in the county. And however, to get that institution off the ground, whatever it may be. And I think this really fits that niche. It's that private, non-for-profit arm of fulfilling the need that this county is absolutely needing to keep high-paying jobs here. No offense, hospitality, I was in hospitality from the get-go, started a busboy at Brown County Inn, worked my way up to Director of Revenue Management for Starwood Hotels and Resorts in Indianapolis. The hospitality is great, but it's not high-paying. I got out of the high hospitality because there's very few jobs that are high-paying that you could stay in hospitality, and that's my own personal opinion. Other people might disagree with me. Just trying to
It's all day every day, right?
You get money in
So,
hospitality.
I'm making
I mean-
money in hospitality, but I also don't own a bar anymore because I got tired of dealing with it. Now I consult and make people pay me more money than they should to hear me talk. Right? That's a business I'm in anymore. But you're right. But the thing is, hospitality, if we can get the kids in the county trained in how to be good managers,
100%.
teaching the finances and all that, we're not talking, yeah, an AI job will always outpay a hospitality job, definitely. But we are talking about solid, middle-class
skill set.
jobs that work in the county. And a lot of these restaurants, bars and hotels and stuff, you look, they're pulling managers in from outside the county because we don't have a pipeline for it.
Right. But
There's no reason why every place here shouldn't be managed by a local.
I would argue that a lot of our hospitality businesses are owned by people who live in the county.
Mhm.
And the people who own a lot of those hospitality businesses do pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's not just the jobs that are involved, but it's also the group that owns those are gonna be retiring and somebody's going to be coming up that's gonna buy those. And it'd be great if it was somebody that came through one of these programs that was a local person and saw an opportunity that, hey, here's a path that I never saw that I have seen now. And if I do this and learn this and go to this program and get these certifications and do this stuff, and, maybe.
100%, and I wouldn't got these certifications if I didn't have the hospitality background.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not knocking that.
Yeah, yeah.
It builds a great skill set that is blanketed across any business organization, not-for-profit organization. You learn those skill sets, whether it be process improvement, accounting, revenue, management, operations, whatever, you're learning that. But it's a stepping stone to build, to go on, and unless you are, owning your own hospitality business, restaurant, bar,
There's lots
Hospital, whatever.
to do here. And I really appreciate you guys coming. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. But these guys like to talk.
I just say one thing real quick.
You got it. 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Here's what I think's cool. If we get this, you look at Nashville's landlocked, right? There's not much room for more development. If we're talking about economic development in the county, Nashville's expensive. There's not land to develop. There's not growth potential. Helensburgh gives us a chance to be able to do that. And they give us, right now we have one tourist destination in the county. This diversifies it. It gives us two good solid locations.
And it's on a state highway.
Yeah, so for overall economic development, right, and you combine the steamery with what Helensburgh is doing, this could be a huge win. for us.
it could be an economic development zone.
It also qualifies for NMTS credits.
What's that?
Explain that, please.
I have to get into it more.
Okay.
to Understand it
What is it?
myself.
No, that's-
They're in the MTS. I just found out about this, but I do think that it's going to help us attract donors. Because there's a tax credit associated with it. I believe that I looked at the track and it seems to qualify, so I'll get more info, but.
NT.
Similar to the AEP's
But it's an economic development.
housing tax.
Yeah.
Economic development area.
Yeah, I'm interested in that part, Adrian. What is this economic development? Explain it to us, because I don't think any.
There is a, yeah, it's a 3-mile radius around us. That's what I can tell you.
But what is the benefit?
What does it mean?
How is that different than a tip? I guess it's the.
Well,
It's taxes.
Yeah, TIF is taxable.
Yeah, but this, and it's a new markets tax credit,
New markets tax, yeah,
new markets tax credit,
NMTC. That's right.
NMTC.
But isn't the EDA a tax? Isn't it like a tax abatement? Where, no, so
A TIF would be, so if,
there's no tax
Redirects,
benefits.
redirects the tax.
There's no tax impact from the, right? So, cause
You
you,
just need one to have a TIF.
EDA had a TIF,
But we could, so in, I'm not saying we could, but in theory, you could still do a TIF district in Helmsburg.
Just tack it on to the EDA.
Okay, awesome.
so the structure's there, it just doesn't exist yet.
Right.
However, if you do that, you have to have the school's permission to do that. And we're not very interested, so we're not very interested in diverting taxes away from the schools as well. So just throwing that out there, because that's actually what it does.
There's a lot of hoops.
Yeah.
It
Takes taxes, it takes future taxes away. We approved one over here and I'm not thrilled with it, so I'm not a big fan at the moment. But,
But we can leverage that EDA as a geographic area to focus on for all this improvement. And focus driving.
as a marketing kind of thing too.
And I don't know, like for this project, I don't know that the TIF makes much difference, but there's not a lot of big infrastructure, like the infrastructure is within the building, you don't need sewer and lift stations and parking lots and stuff like that.
So then what the opportunities zone, is there any economic opportunity zones in the county? Those are tax credits where you can
Yeah,
invest.
that's what I was, that's what I.
Right? No, well, yes, it has to be declared. I don't know if they do those here. We did them in Texas, so. But as an investor, you could go in there.
What's,
Yeah.
what's nice about the NMTC, it's a federal program, it's at a federal tax, so,
Yeah, let's take money from the feds.
I mean,
okay, I was thinking about Story though. Like Story essentially is a single business, right?
Yes.
That is a restaurant, a bar, a hotel, and now an event venue, right? That was just one place. So is there some way that, we can take it, somebody can take a business and get some assistance from people in order to create that announcement? People go to Story just for that one business and they have for 50 years.
I think the downside of that though is it's not driving, like you said, it's one business. It's not driving additional housing. It's not
Yeah.
driving additional business. It's not driving.
But this one is honest, this one is easier to get to. The problem with Story is it is inconvenient.
it really does sound promising for the NMTC because it's focused on low income and rural communities, which Helmsburg is both.
Perfect.
And so, yeah, this is something that I think it does, tie to, with the CDEs. So it might be something that we all kind of educate ourselves around.
Yeah, I'll look
because-
into it more and I'll have a.
Especially if it's in a learning or an educational institution that is, think of the fund, like they're trying to take money away from big universities and put it towards more rural aspects. So that's just a thought.
Adrian, is there anything we can do for you and your role of economic development?
Networking. Like I said, if we can find businesses that are willing to take that jump and potentially invest a business in Helmsburg.
Is there property then? I mean, we were thinking next to the fig tree and the fire station over there, are there places that could be for sale?
I don't know about for sale. I know that the broom factory and the other sign building or whatever that it used to be fig tree there. I know they've been up for sale before, so I don't think they're fishing for interest right now, but yeah.
It'd be good if we could at least come up with an inventory list of what is available.
Well, I think there's more available at the steam rebuilding rather than what you're planning.
Who would like to try to put that together?
I'm getting that done. Also getting cups out.
So we'll put that on the agenda next
Love Dave.
Jeremiah and Adrian.
Victoria, that.
Okay.
Is, Bill Poole's, the sawmill, is it still going?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You're there every morning.
Oh, okay. Bet you do, it's right there. Okay,
We're gonna be having an open house for the new Habitat House and.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. I know where that is too. It's on my driveway.
Is it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Did they get the fence up yet? No. They get the fence up.
But I think that's the biggest thing, Amy, is just connections, try to get businesses. Before you came in, we were talking about some of the projects we have on our plate, and I don't know if you heard those, but, real quick, it was a storm siren, that thing up there, streetlights, corridor 45, which is, the event we were talking about as you came in, so.
Business development.
Yes.
so those are infrastructure type things, really.
Except for the festival.
Yeah.
I go after the ends, keep your tax, but you can sell for your best. Everybody else said that's it.
I hope it's a fight for the best argument.
Huh?
I said, I hope it's a fight for the best argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's definitely for tourists. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
Yeah.
I understand if you don't want to.
Alright.
All right, old business, anything on the website?
I emailed Tim, who probably emailed Teresa or something like that, and now there's a link.
Full.
So there's a link. And our website, I updated it with the agenda and minutes, and other than that, I haven't touched it. We got 0 non-spam messages.
Okay. Cool.
Well, we got like 60 spam.
Oh,
That I got.
You still have to go.
But just none that we're not, that I need to look at.
Yeah,
I think I might put a capture on it.
thank you for doing that.
Right, so you can try to.
Cut down on the robots.
Do we have anything going on with the county comprehensive plan and all? Anything,
My understanding currently is that that's tied to the red.
red application, and we won't know about that until September.
August, they said, but didn't tell us when, so I'm hoping shortly.
Rural. Red stands for,
What is it? Engagement, development, rural
rural.
empowerment, development.
Is that a grant?
Yeah, it's from well, it's a grant of resources from Okra and Ball State. Doesn't cost us anything.
But it puts together a group of individuals to identify major issues in the comprehensive plan and see what needs to be carried forward, sort of, kind of.
My expectation is just a vision for the county.
Yeah.
What's one story we've got in common?
Yeah.
And that's what would drive the comprehensive plan.
And it's like a year-long project.
They can have as many as 15 projects. This could be one. You know, how do you develop that?
It's a rural empowerment and development.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we can look at all kinds of projects through that. Well, you'll let us know if you hear anything. Anybody go to the Quality of Life Committee meetings lately?
I missed the next one. There is one tomorrow. And a commission.
Yeah,
Are the, quality of life, do they fall under the public,
Yes.
meeting? So
Yeah,
it
it's
will
all on
be.
YouTube.
it's,
If you want, I can send you the transcripts from all the meetings. We have them all pulled.
That's exciting.
We'll talk.
okay.
You'll have to get the AI to summarize it.
All right. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that actually, to kind of go back on, I have been trying to find notes or,
They've got all the videos. They've got all the videos.
yeah, and you have to sit through that, and that's That's,
It's too long hours.
No, maybe one, I have, yeah.
And Courtney's watching right now, from the Democrat, and she is, she's been writing stories, you know, and keeping us updated as well. So there really hasn't been, as far as I know, much progress.
Right.
It's a similar discussion as to what we're having just in a larger group and where there's actually some money. So, just trying to figure that out. So, but it's tomorrow morning is the next meeting.
The last number I heard was 500,000, was what they expected, additional 3%.
I think it's way more than that.
is this the committee off
Yeah.
of CGC or
The-
CBC or CBC?
Well, CVC and the council.
Okay,
I mean, so the council ultimately is the decider, right?
okay.
So this is, you know, the 5% that we've always been getting is gonna continue to go where it's been going. So nothing changes there. So they're looking at this as a new opportunity, and the question is, how do we best leverage those funds to make the most impact
And this.
on quality of life,
And this committee is attached specifically to
to have
the
the
outcome.
3%. Yes, and what can we do with it? And obviously, the county has a number of maintenance projects that kind of top of mind, but then what do we do with that money? How do we invest it in a way that's gonna, just like we're talking about in Helmsburg, it's gonna produce even more benefits. So as I said, I missed last meeting, so I'm not sure where they're at.
And the owner occupied rehabilitation grant, that first phase ended last week.
What is?
Got the grant in, got 32 applications.
Wow, I pushed it really hard. It is, help me if I'm wrong. It is, the county can get money to rehab existing homes up to $25,000 per home for major, like, roof, HVAC, major infrastructure for that home.
Is it a grant to the homeowner? or is it-
It's grant through ARA that if a homeowner would apply and they have to qualify, they have to own the home. And then they could receive up to 25,000 for repairs. Now, they don't just give the 25,000. ARA organizes, contractors go in and do repair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the repair system's not put in something that wasn't existing.
Right.
Say that again. It's repairs on something already existing.
Yes.
Not.
Like if you didn't have, AC, you're not gonna come in and put AC.
Yeah,
Repair.
So,
What
yeah.
about like a ramp or something, if you need a handicap ramp, that's over there.
Yeah, but we talked to them about, and, Jim's gone, talk to them about partnering with Habitat. 'cause
Yeah,
we do
because that's what you kind of do anyway, right? Just on a smaller scale.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
so
who do you turn that into with the application? Is that's over with?
they had a first round. If they get awarded it, they're gonna open it again and apply.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Is there an income restriction that like you have to be at under a certain income?
And you have to own.
Mhm.
That's something that we sometimes run into.
Right, which people are into.
Yeah.
So it's an application, we didn't get it in yet.
They needed applications to come in to submit the grant application. And they'll have a decision by September 30th. And if we get approved, then we'll have the second round open up for more to apply.
There's the money coming from.
Oak,
What's Okra?
Office of Community Rural, I don't know, it's an Indiana thing.
Rural affairs.
Community and Rural Affairs.
State. So-
Yeah.
State thing.
And I think didn't both the council and the foundation throw in some money too? I seem to remember there was something about.
There's a match from.
There was a match.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't think the foundation, there's a match from the county. But the repairs won't start until next spring, and they can complete it, they have 18 months to complete on 35 homes, so.
Did I just totally miss that we had this conversation, or did we?
You were saying.
Okay, it was that conversation.
Pushed out a lot.
Paper. That's
Yeah.
what I said.
All right,
It came out pretty fast.
okay.
I saw it on Sue's friend on Facebook.
Uh-oh. Surprised you're still talking to me.
There's
All
a
right.
lot of personal marketing on that by especially Teresa in our office.
Yeah.
She took a lot of flyers to a lot of organizations, a lot of people got fired up to do it.
Yeah.
We did the applications manually in our office, most of them were online, and helped people out, so a lot of behind the scenes effort to get those things signed up in a very short
I was
period
gonna
of
be,
time.
gave it out to Triad, it was like the last day, and she said, I'll get everybody signed up, so it was like.
Yeah.
A lot of interested.
Oh, there's just tons. Awesome. And, you know, it's an area that haven't had, you know, we build homes and we do the small ramp type projects, but this is a real area that we need somebody.
The things that cost $8,000 to $20,000 to do, so
Roofs and HVAC,
we've replaced both in the last 10
it's
years.
expensive.
So, and any other old business? New business is September agenda. You'd mentioned, possibly having Jim come and present on Habitat. Do you still want him who's available?
I think it'd be good, because, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but it kind of seems like we're leaning towards Helmsburg as a place of focus and actually make some real impact. You guys are building houses there, so.
Just need land.
More contacts and more,
Yeah,
and hopefully kind of hook up on some land.
yeah, I know. I wrote that.
20 acres, you can build a few houses.
Yeah, it,
Plus they got sewers out there.
that's all I said. Yeah, it's just more efficient to build multiple houses at the same time than build one, don't find land. What other items we need on the September agenda?
So far we have, Habitat, you two guys are getting going, I'm not put that in for it.
Helmsburg.
What else do we need to do to kind of lay the foundation, play out? Working with Helmsburg.
I just, and what else in,
Which it qualifies for an economic opportunity zone.
So
I'm gonna check that out.
I should see what happens with that. Or what you need to qualify for that.
I'm gonna talk to Amy about the pros and cons of TID districts.
So,
Out of Indianapolis.
I'm not the expert.
I mean, it's like deja vu on the website. I mean, that's pretty much where we started with Helmsburg.
yeah,
10 years later, we're back in Helmsburg. So if you live, work and play, I mean, good Lord, if you want to market it. And I think we had the sock factory on there one time. If you saw the ads, 8,000 square feet at the time. So, and then,
until like 3 weeks, or no, until the beginning of this year, whenever we started, it still had some of the properties listed on the
I
website.
mean, that's the default, that was the problem in RDCs every year and different agendas and no common aim. But if you look at that site, why can't you market the steamer or your plans and vision off that site? You're asking,
Absolutely.
because, you know, you've got, what's funny is you got the infrastructure, you got sewers, you got customers that want to link onto Lake Lemon, you've got a place to expand, you got 20 acres, there's more, maybe you find even more that's a little further up that somebody bought just when we were close to looking at that. And so you've got all the infrastructure there. Now it's a matter of finding the money, the people with vision. There's a lot of money in this county, a lot of individual money in this county, that they may want to invest. You know, if there's money to be made there, if there's an opportunity there, yeah, you're relying on grants. She mentioned the sustainment issue, but there's money. It's getting those folks that have that vision, have that money to build that thing. Because you've got it all from the government. You've got it all. It's right there.
So how do we find businesses that are looking for a place? I mean, where is that?
Well, we need to find out how much room you've got, because it's like, if whatever the main, those two buildings we just have in the fire department, I mean, if they're empty but not available, we need to know that.
Yeah.
If that other building that is now whatever you said, a CNC company, if it's now taken and it's not available. So, I mean, there's a lot of empty buildings, but we don't know what's actually available.
Right.
I know there's more space in the steamer building, and it's almost more like a makerspace type
Right.
building. But it needs infrastructure. It's not turnkey because it doesn't have backends, it doesn't have
Yeah.
water, it's got plenty of power. And there's no. So,
And if we know what's available, we can kind of at least lay the groundwork.
Yeah. absolutely. I guess
Yeah,
that might even, yeah.
Oh, you're right.
We should see what's available.
Yeah.
And then we can see who that would use that.
What I was thinking about is, I don't know if you guys know Clark Reiner, but he lives in Brown County, but he works for the Economic Development Commission in Bloomington. And, having knowledge of both of those communities, I assume that's what they do, is they're bringing businesses and connecting them in Monroe County. And I've never really talked to him about that in depth, but, he might be another good resource of, like, how do you do that? Or does he have anybody who's looking for something that's,
You know?
Yeah.
And you can reach out and see. How do we do that?
Well, I think it's something that's gonna be key for us. We have to come up with some sort of unifying vision, right? Because Steamery is great, not only takes everything so far. So there has to be some sort of vision of just a concept of what Helmsburg can become. It doesn't even really matter, I don't think, if we know exactly how we get there. Because you have to sell the dream. So we have to come up with, what is that dream? What does that look like?
But I think I think it's important that Helmsburg
Yeah.
authors that, not
Yeah.
us telling
Agreed.
Helmsburg.
I-
what they're
I-
doing.
Right.
That's what
Which is why I want to, yeah, I think we need Helmsburg to pull it of what the dream is. I mean,
Yeah.
my dream of the coffee shop and brewery and my office being in the steamery so I can walk across the street
Mhm.
is my version,
Yeah.
but that's not.
Adrian, you guys got that economic plan that you drafted along with the DA? That's out there.
It's there.
That's been done. I mean, it's not like you gotta start from scratch.
And we've also had at our group meetings, input from people in the community about what they want to see and what they would be willing to support. So we've got those.
And I think this is something that we're kind of struggling to. So I'm not saying that, hey, do you already have a document out there? But is there a charter or is there something that shows us what the vision and the mission of your, like, what is all of that? What are you guys looking at metrics of how, whether or not the economic growth is happening or like, what are those types of I mean, Kirsty said that she has like I imagine like a 40, 50 page playbook of how the steamery is. And that's a fraction of what Helmsburg would be. I would think that the Helmsburg, almost like what the county and the town of Nashville are trying to do, coming up with its own comprehensive plan. It would be very similar to the same thing. But
I would like, maybe we should take a look at, I guess this is more maybe EDC than RDC, whatever, but, I would, like, I think it's called the Propeller in Columbus, where they put that makerspace, worker space, shared workspace, but basically an incubator for small businesses. I mean, that's something that we absolutely do not have.
we did about 10, we tried it with the Chamber of Commerce, but
there's three little offices there.
right above the
Bank.
the PNC Bank, we tried.
Like an office space.
Yeah, we tried
Well-
to do the incubator kind of thing,
But
but
I just like the
it
Columbus one's
wasn't, there
more,
wasn't need for it at that time, but I think at a different time.
so there is a need for like cabinet making space. And there's a need
Oh, yeah.
for like leather making space. And there's a need for, kind of somewhere between steamery, I guess office space. You're right. I see that. But like, there is a need for
Trade.
like small trade
Yeah.
building space,
Yeah.
which would fit nicely with the steamery space they make.
100%.
But, I just wondered if it's worth a trip out to, I think it's called the Propeller or something. I'm drawing a blank on what it is. It's the
It's not the hangar.
Columbus Chamber or the Columbus did it and it's out by the airport, but I haven't been out there.
Oh, I know.
But it's not like-
Columbus Propeller.
It is a Propeller.
It's a makerspace over there on Great Oil.
Yeah.
I know that's got some coming.
They're next to IUPUC, Ivy Tech.
It's all there behind
There's a
the.
nursing home, there's a bunch of, factories and stuff. staff agency is.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses out there. So if we can fast track together.
Have you guys?
There's that space at the Stingray would lend itself.
We have right available. So I can,
I know.
I set all that up for, so.
We did a lot.
But our event is with the old economic.
No, I meant people who want that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that I do know.
That's what I was gonna say, you're talking about like you have some specific
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, you were saying.
I'm thinking I myself.
And
People that have been, yeah, that over the last couple of years, I'm trying to find space.
I'm not trying to was a percentage back that and just really got it.
Perfect.
And it fits with the understanding. I don't have a place. There's space in town.
A big question that I have for Huntsville though is the water infrastructure. I thought one of the main reasons why the sock factory didn't come back was because that they couldn't, they didn't have the, they didn't have the pressure for the water infrastructure. Now, if we're talking all of this industry, like cooking and so forth, are we gonna be able to provide a water fire system out there so that it can have the actual infrastructure and the pressure that it needs?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for the water company, obviously. I do know that the sock factory was given an option of putting a water tower up in there. That would be
So that's a whole nother aspect that
But-
needs to,
They needed this much water pressure versus say a typical, because of the flame.
And the size of the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
well, the
needed,
side of the building is still there.
yeah, but they didn't.
It's more like the non, all the culinary stuff would use the Ansel system, right? So it's chemical, not water based.
Well, I think that's a good point and a good question that we shouldn't guess. We should find out whether the current, I mean, to Tim's point, like, Tim made the point that the infrastructure is there. Let's double check that the infrastructure is there, because that's a good point. They don't have enough fire suppression.
Who would like to do that?
Who would we?
Why are you doing?
That's
That's an engineering.
Fire suppression.
I thought it was an insurance issue, that if they didn't do that, that they were unable to get
Like
insurance.
you're saying, that's highly flammable,
Yeah.
yarn and stuff, so they're not storing any, well, I don't think they're storing any.
But
Cooking with gas.
are other people able to get insurance in town? Was it just the size of the facility and the type of business?
But it's a good question because how many businesses or homes can we hook up to water?
Right.
How many can we hook up to sewer? You know,
But you can certainly help us with the sewer question, but the water question, I assume it's brown and water.
Yeah, it is. And we've submitted all the paperwork for,
Who's that, Christie Schmidt?
yeah. But as far as the sewer, we've submitted all the paperwork, SRF, for what we can match and afford to pay and all that kind of
so
stuff.
did that
We're
read
waiting.
correctly, Erin? Or representative? Anyway, she got it through the next step. And I just came across my feed this morning on the federal money for that was time for the project.
Yeah.
So are we still talking about the sewer line from, what, like Blossom Lane, Lake Lemon? Is that still on the table?
But what we just submitted the paperwork for is just for the plant itself.
Okay,
That's, yeah.
so that's gonna be how many years out?
I mean, we are talking that if the money, I mean, we were told we should find out by the end of the year, we're putting, we're gonna be taking bids right at the beginning of the year with, completion 26, 27.
And that's for just the plant?
Yeah.
And then,
Cause we've already secured land, we already have the land
Right.
built out. We just,
That's truly shovel ready in Helensburgh.
it is,
so when can, we'll come to it then, 28, 20?
probably 27. I mean, part of what we wanna do is, you know, we've scoped this so that we can pull in a lot more people because that, I mean, first of all, we're band-aiding right now.
Yeah.
Our current plan, right? Robin works his butt off for that, but we've got, you know, nice new equipment that can handle 3-4 times the flow or more, so.
So then do you have to lay the pipe after that?
That would be a different project.
Yeah, that would be a different project because what we want to include in a project for that kind of build out is while we're running through your area, we want you to we give you a much cheaper rate to hook on now and so, yeah, but not force anybody. We don't want to do any of that. So, you know, we'll give an option.
Well, if that happens, it sounds like your timing on the sewer project and the timing potentially on the steamery are pretty close together.
Well, the steamery's hooked up now. right?
Yes.
They're hooked to sewer.
Because they were pretty.
So I was just thinking that when that project's done, when the steamery's up and running, should be close. So that
Yeah.
gives us a good point to look at, bringing businesses in and we actually can give people some kind of a timeline.
Or what infrastructure is gonna be there, yeah.
And Sue's 20-acre subdivision
Yeah.
On it,
that we have to have TIF to fund.
we're a nonprofit.
Is there any kind of forum out there that is like, it's not a job fair, but it's a startup conference where we could have representation to go and talk to different startups? I don't know if there's anything like that out there, but where we could kind of go and say, hey, you're a startup. We have the,
Sell
we
hemp
have,
Helmsburg.
yeah, we have a place for you, or
I thought at one point I remember hearing about a SCORE program.
we do have
I
school
mean,
here.
if they're mentoring,
That's a great
business
point.
owners.
Yeah, good point. But I don't know how much. But I don't know how much, like,
Yeah.
activity.
no, I don't either.
Yeah,
And if I'm not mistaken, this is SCORE, because it.
I'm thinking more like
Mostly
like-
online.
the IU School of Business, they have a great entrepreneur, program. Purdue Business Entrepreneur, like the college.
IDC program, so people that would work with us at home.
But if we can get this red.
So long as it's not a data center.
Do that exact same thing.
And that you might put on your September schedule. If we get that grant, that'll fire things up.
Like, how do,
There's a data center going
we're
in.
building, how do we market it to the right? But how do we put it in front of the right people that are looking for space to build their company, or like,
I wonder about the IU Center for Rural Development and ROI. I would think both of those groups are,
I know, I missed the conference then, French Club.
yeah, I was thinking that too. I think that was probably your chance.
Yeah, and I think that they're gonna have that annually, so that.
But you can
something
still
that
talk
they
to
can-
them and say, where are these groups? How can, help us with a plan?
Yeah.
We would like to attract businesses to this small rural community. How do we do that?
Exactly.
And they, that's what they do.
But IEDC did have some of those Helmsburg properties listed on their inventory at one point. When we were looking at space, they came up. But the problem with listing those properties on IEDC, they're not ready for startups. Right, as a startup looking for space, like I
want
can't
to
come to
turnkey.
Helmsburg. Right, I
I want
mean,
to come in,
if you're a
drop my
startup,
desk.
I need
Exactly.
something that I can turn on, flip the light switch on and start doing something. I can't spend $100,000 on infrastructure
Exactly.
to do it. So
Exactly.
they do have three-phase power though out there, which is very tempting.
Yeah, it's that building, yeah.
That building's got all has three-phase power. So things like, for example, circuit board manufacturing where you need a solder machine that works at Helmsburg.
That's cool.
Yes, it's really cool. And IEDC would pay for half of the equipment that they did there, so there's a bunch of.
I think from the marketing perspective, though, it's all, once we have something that we can show and have, I think we can get media on it. I think we can start by using free platforms, right? Whether that's newspapers or TV or whatever, what have you. And then hopefully build some momentum that then gives us more access to more things. And not have to lay out a huge amount of cash just to run a PR campaign.
I do feel that we've kind of landed on something of focus, which is Helmsburg. And am I wrong on this, or is this kind of like how everyone's kind of feeling, which would be actually a milestone for us right now,
Well, I mean,
a little bit, because now we have something to kind of put some focus on. We have a little bit of vision and mission, with what Adrian's doing and Kirsty's doing, this whole area. We could kind of focus around and rally around the redevelopment of homes. Is that what we're kind of leaning on?
I'm right there with you. I think we did a good 3-4 months of kicking around, trying to say, okay, what
Exactly.
where can we make an impact, what's available, and this
Feels
seems
like
to be
this
the
is
thing
the thing that we
that.
can make the biggest impact.
Well, it's more ready than a lot of the other areas too.
Mhm.
You already have your.
And willing.
And
I think that helps, right?
that's a big part of
I've
it.
been wanting that for us for 10 years.
Yeah.
So now.
I actually go back to your guys, our very first conversation, which is why did you guys move to Brown County? And so that's also the dream, right? Like people want to live in Brown County. How do you bring your business to rural Brown County?
Yes.
You know, I don't know how to do that, but boy, I've always wanted to do that. And so we hook that together with your website, right? Place to work and play and stay or whatever it is, so. But yeah, I mean, that hooks that right back in as they may or may not be people who are already here. I think part of the problem is also you guys all work from home on your computers, which means that the types of business that you're looking for are places like somebody doing leather, right? You actually have to have physical plant of some sort in order to make your business or to manufacture something as opposed to offices, so.
But at the same time, I think, you know, I mean, I think, Alan, if you found the right spot, you might move here.
Well, I mean, I'll go with the personal story. I was looking for a spot here. I wanted to move. So I'm part-time attorney, part-time, software company that builds electronic stuff. We wanted to put it here. We wanted to put it in Nashville. There was no such, like I called, I tried, I pushed. I lived here. I wanted to in my backyard. And best I got was permission. I was like, well, I don't need permission. I'm looking for like a space here. So, but we needed 1,500 square feet, and we couldn't find it, right? So what we ended up getting in Columbus is at the workshop space. So it's another it's a shared office space that has a series of like 8, it's basically a glorified storage building. But it's a 20 by 60 space that's HVAC, air conditioning, whatever. The rent's, I don't know, we pay $1,500 a month or something. It's high for what it is, but we get to use the little front office we need to. So we can have, you know, meetings in the front office when we need to, and we've got the production facility in the side piece. I would put it in Nashville, I would put it in Helmsburg or whatever. What I couldn't do is rent space in Helmsburg and spend a bunch of money on build out.
Yeah.
Right, this was a finished space that I could move my business in. There's 9 of them and they're full. Right, there's a wine distribution place, there's a commercial kitchen place, there was a soap company, there was where else? And the example that I gave with the 11 places, I was trying to find space in town, and I ran into a bunch of other people that were trying to find space in town. So we have 11 person who needs space, we have a cabinet, custom furniture company who needs space, we have a restaurant who needs space, and it's like, we couldn't find it, right? So, yes, absolutely, if I could get 2,000 square feet of space at the steamery and had a decent office that I could take people to, or not at the steamery, but in Helmsburg, whatever. What I was excited about that building that you said the machine shop went into. It's like, if I could find a couple thousand square feet in Helmsburg at a reasonable rate that had an okay office space and 3-phase power, we'd be building circuit boards in Helmsburg, like in 6 months, no problem. But that space doesn't exist yet. So, and I'll bring $600,000 a year jobs to wherever next year. No problem. We're gonna need to move somewhere.
So how do we build those kind of buildings? They look like they're pretty,
Cubes.
it looks like they're pretty.
It has to be those
No, it
dimensions.
doesn't matter. I need 2,000, I only need 2,000 square feet and it can't be super expensive.
I'm about to renovate
I thought about building our properties.
I'm.
Then we get next into town and they get mad at me.
We're moving out of the house and moving up Blissful.
So, and I'm not trying to, this is my story, right? But I'm not.
Yeah, but it's not unique.
Other.
But if you can get, you find the building, you get a developer to make it turnkey for you to move in.
Right.
Those are the pieces,
So
yeah.
somebody's got to pay for it is the problem, right? It's
Well,
like, I'm
that's
not
why
gonna
you get
construction
developers in,
costs,
you're gonna lease.
construction costs and insanity.
And I'm working on this tech company, and if I had a space, right, I got a partner in Dallas and a partner in Scottsdale, right? So we could have employees, we're gonna have to bring on some employees, they can be wherever, don't care.
Right.
But eventually, we're gonna need some place besides my house, that's an office,
Yeah.
right? And it'd be nice to have that space here, because I know I can convince the other two that it should be here. Cause I'm the only one that's not married, so they can all come stay at my house. And nobody argues.
We're gonna move you to Helmsburg.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
and it's not even just this, there's, working with 2 different startups right now, in healthcare. And they need a headquarters space, but it's 2 people from Indianapolis, that need to have remote workers and.
I was like, you guys already know
But-
the pizza places we were
But that's the
talking
thing,
about.
Like there's this need. And it
How do we
doesn't
help?
require a bunch of that's what I'm saying, it doesn't require a bunch of manufacturing. Aspects of it, but it's the headquarter aspect.
Well, and that's the thing that's kind of interesting about Helmsburg, right? You're like, well, you can never put manufacturing there because it's hard to get trucks to ship stuff out. Oh, watch, look, I've got UPS and boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. UPS will balance.
Yeah.
So, but we're not, I don't think we're unique. There's other companies like us in their space.
Yeah.
And the people that are running those companies or starting those companies or owning those companies live in the hills and hollers of Brown County and would love to keep that business here.
Well, and the number of people that are running tech companies and owning AI companies are growing, and, you know, I mean, I was looking at something the other day that said, we're probably not that far away from the first one-person billion-dollar company in tech, right? Because of how much AI can do. Well, why not try to draw those people here? Because it's a great place where you don't want to be in a city. You want to enjoy nature, and you still want to be able to do tech. And we just have to give them what they do.
so, in the interest of time, our September meeting, we're gonna have a Habitat present on housing issues. Helmsburg land inventory from Jeremiah and Adrian.
It'll have to be from Jeremiah. I will be out of town for your next meeting.
Well, but you'll give him the info. And the economic development plan for Helmsburg. you're
Yeah, I'm gonna get that,
And I
and
think I might.
we're gonna connect and get all their stuff that they have, and then I'm gonna get some census data and stuff for the photo course.
And you're gonna check out the economic development piece.
I'm gonna see if I can talk to Clark Reiner and maybe he comes to the next meeting after that.
Okay. And we're gonna update on the red app and the quality of life. So, any other business and public comments?
I have a suggestion and ask.
Sure.
The person from the steamery mentioned, there's a lot of hidden talent in the hills in Brown County. I think there's potentially a lot of charitable money as well. Have you ever tried to pull on those people with cabins and second homes down here? And like the Central Indiana Charitable Foundation
Always,
versus you do, yeah.
Yeah,
always big time. Yeah, that's typically one of the biggest supporters, not the biggest, one of the biggest supporters for the Civic Community Foundation and then even Habitat. So, and different organizations.
but if you know people, you know.
Yes, that's fine.
So I utilize that, the CICF, so they're creating this with insurance.
I think it's a big well, but a lot of people try to tap into it.
We all want to use it.
What's that?
We all want to use it.
Yeah.
And I think overlook this, trying to do good where you live primarily and, you come down here and relief.
Yeah.
And we have done some, but not enough, but I think there's a lot of people.
Where are you from?
I was investigating, John Miller on the 24 AC road.
Okay.
Okay.
So, the other, my ask, and so I'll talk to Josie and send it, tell you how it goes. My other ask is how can we get access to the comprehensive plan? It's in draft form, is that for public access now?
Which one are you
Yeah.
talking about? There's a county comprehensive plan and then a town.
So the county website, planning department, they've got a draft.
Yeah, link there. Sure. There's a link.
You got a laptop or something, we'll pull it up.
Yeah.
Or I'll go next door to the office after the meeting, I'll try.
The Nashville's comprehensive plan, I think is passed, and the county's still going through the channels. Was the county comprehensive plan adopted?
No,
No,
No, it's still in draft form, and if you can't find it there, I'll have it too. I can get it there. Yeah. It's Lane. Oh, I have a paper copy, but I'm not printing it yet. Anything else we can help you with? Appreciate you coming. Thank you, what you do. Anything?
I'm Terry Marks, I'm a Brown County kid.
Hi, Brown County Bill.
Worked with the Kansas Community Foundation for a few years, and I'll be a new board member in 2026.
Yep.
yeah, that's right.
Good deal.
Yeah. But I saw your face on, when they announced the new board member.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Super. What year did you graduate?
Yeah. There's one of those.
Okay. Anything else? We stand adjourned. No business.